Oh, there we go. Okay, this is Don Wedding, and this is our sync session, our introductory sync session for Predict 498, Data Science 498. This is the capstone class, and this is for both sections 55 and 56. I'm your instructor, Don Wedding. Please feel free to call me Don if you wish, but I answer to anything. So I'm informal. You may address me as you, whatever way you wish. Our TA is Logan Strauss, and he is also, he'll introduce himself in just a second. And we have a second TA who might be on maternity leave named Erin, but you might not see much of her in the start of this quarter. So, but be aware that she's here, and she may, depending on how things are going, she might be dropping in. Logan, you want to just say hello real quick?
Hey, it's nice to see everyone. How you guys doing? Excited to go ahead and kick this off here with Don, and we'll go ahead and I'll be here for whatever you guys need, any assistance, things like that. I was in your guys' shoes last fall when I took his class, so I can kind of tell you guys a little bit of what to do to stay in front of the obstacles, as you hit them throughout the course, and how to succeed. But ultimately, and you put in the amount of effort, you'll be successful in this, and it's an enjoyable class. So one of the pieces of advice I can give is just make sure you go ahead and you pay attention to what's happening in the class, do the assignment, get a group together and hold each other accountable. That's one of the most important things that I can say is, you want to get with a group of people, and you want to make sure you hold each other accountable, because that's how the team's going to succeed. If you have some loose ends here and there, you're going to have some challenges by the time you get to the end of the quarter. So make sure you do that. If anybody has any questions throughout the course of tonight's lecture, I'll watch for it here in the chat for Don and get these addressed here. So I look forward to getting to meet you guys. And like he said, I graduated this past year, and it's been a great program for me. Like I say, whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of this class. That's what you can get out of the program. And I'm thankful for the opportunities it's presented to me. I've worked at Federal Express here, FedEx, for the last 7.5, going on 8 years. And this program alone has allowed me to, through the course of beginning to end here, jump through 3 different roles and get into, obviously analytics early on, and then continue my career path. It's been very rewarding. So I'm very thankful to the program and the folks I've come into interaction with. There's also a leadership board that I'm a part of here at the school. And we're going to have an event coming up here soon. And I think Don's going to allow me to give a advertisement for that here in a bit. Yep.
We're gonna hit up on that in the end, because I want to talk about a bonus opportunity. So we'll hit up at that towards the end of the class. So let's just get started real fast. The real question here is what's going on with the class. And I suppose now the first thing I did was I've already sent out some announcements, and I would recommend, so what I did was, one of the announcements was, I said, watch these videos if you want a head start. So I've got 3 videos that I highly recommend. The first one is an overview of the class shell. I expect, watch this. I walk through all the stuff that's in the class. This is an overview of the project. And then this is also sort of an overview of the philosophy of the class. I want to put this in here because sometimes I've had students not understand. They're like, how come there weren't any lectures in this class? Or how come this? It's like, this is, everybody who teaches capstone teaches it differently. For example, Professor Bhatti, when he teaches it, what he does is he goes in and he says, okay, here's a data set, and we're going to crawl into the weeds on, every single algorithm that we can find. One day it's going to be deep learning neural networks. The next day is support vector machines, whatever. He crawls into the weeds. So if that's what you want, and he does lectures, and, you really get into it. Let's see who else. I think Marianne Seiler, when she teaches the course, she does it more as a high level person who's teaching it like you're going to be running a team of data scientists. So there's a lot of case studies, not a lot of modeling. There's somebody else who teaches this and they're doing it more like a database. They're assembling a database. So everybody teaches this class differently. The way I'm teaching this class is I'm teaching it because I've been doing this for 20 years. So I want to teach the class like how I have encountered real life analytic projects. And I'm trying to show you what you are going to try to encounter. So the trick is when you're encountering real world problems is that you're not going to be trying to squeeze every last drop of accuracy out of the model. You want to get something that's pretty good and real fast and something that you can explain to the CEO and it can be used. If you build a model that's really complicated and, nobody understands it, no one's going to use that model, and then you've just wasted your time. So I'm trying to focus on things that you're going to encounter in a real world situation. So I recommend, I'm not going to go through a lot of the stuff today because they're covered here. So I would recommend you watch these. So let's just go through the class shell real fast. This is our syllabus right here. And just a sec, I got to close my office door. I got the kids are screaming. There we go. And also, Logan, if you would be kind enough to keep an eye on the chat window, if you see any questions, please feel free to interrupt me, okay?
Sounds good. Will do.
Great. And guys, please interrupt with any questions. Okay, so this is our syllabus here. This is my contact information right here. Please, if you email me to both email addresses. I have a consulting business and I'm many times with customers, so I can't get access to my Northwestern email from my cell phone. So that's why you want to try both of these. This is my home office. This is my cell phone. Call me up. I usually have my cell phone with me. If I don't pick up, I'm usually with a customer. I'll call you back as quickly as I can. But of course, I also, you may want to respond with the discussion boards or post something there. I like that too, because that way, if I answer it once, everybody will get the answer. But you can contact me any way you want, and and call me anytime you want or email me anytime. So if something emergency happens and you have to call me at 3 in the morning on a Sunday, then you can do it. Just pick up the phone and call me. If I don't answer, it means I'm so asleep that I didn't wake up. Then you'll have to wait till tomorrow. But if I pick up that phone at 3 a.m., we're okay. So, but please don't. No one ever has called me at 3 a.m. and we're going to keep the streak alive. But like I said, I think the latest anybody ever called me was somebody called me up because their wife had to go to the hospital and it was Sunday night or something like that. It was for a different class. And I'm like, well, thanks for letting me know. And, we'll obviously that's an emergency and I'm glad you let me know. But short of that, I mean, contact me if you have questions. Okay, let's see what else we have here. There's no textbook in this class. No software is required. You use whatever tools you want. It's the goal here is you're going to use the stuff you've learned to run a real project. It's a team project. Everybody on the team is going to get the same score for the project. So if you got a slacker who's not doing any work, you're going to have to pick up the slack, just like the real world, okay? Believe it or not, you're going to go out there in the corporate world and there's going to be people who are total dead weight. You're going to have to deal with that. I'm not going to get involved with your teams. Logan will give you some suggestions shortly on how to assemble a team, and he'll give you some pointers. Let's see what else. Your 85% of your grade is going to be your project, and it's going to be 100 points for your goals. Halfway through the quarter, you're going to have your initial findings, which is 150 points, 300 points for your final project, and then your oral report. Now, the cool thing about this is I run this just like the real world. So if it turns out that you get a total, you totally screw up your initial findings. So let's say you get absolutely horrible score on that. Well, if I give you a 0 on that, and I have done that, it's kind of distressing. But in the real world, if you do something and it's really bad, and then the boss says, I don't like this, here's how you fix it. And if you fix it, you can get the points back. Okay. You could theoretically walk in to the last day of this class, hand in absolutely everything and get an A. Don't do that, but you could. So if you get a really bad grade, you can either fix it and hand it in again, or just fix it on the next piece. So, if I tell you what's wrong with your initial findings, you can hand it in on the oral, if you fix it in the final report, I'll give you back these points. Okay. You can always get the points back. Let's see. Your team is going to be 4 to 5 members. It depends on the size of the class. So if you're in section 55, we're going to have 4 teams of 5. The people in section 56, I've got 13 students. So there's going to be a team of 4, a team of 4, and a team of 5. So that's how that will work. Let's see. Collaboration. Again, this is just like the real world. So if one team is doing, let's say we have a cell phone app, or somebody is like, cell phone app is not required, but I highly encourage you to create one. But if one team has got it working and the other team has got no clue as to how to do it, if team A helps team B, I will give team A bonus points because they made team B more productive. That's what they want in the real world. It's not dog eat dog. You guys are going to have to help one another, because that's what you will actually get rewarded for helping. And also, team B, I will give you bonus points for being efficient because you got something done and you were smart enough to reach out and get help. So, I encourage your teams to cooperate where you can. Let's see. Again, I'm the CEO. I'm not going to second guess anything that you do. I've had students do things and I'm thinking, I wouldn't have done it that way. I'd have done it different. But you know what? My project. It's your project and I'm the CEO and I'm paying you to tell me what to do. So you're going to build these models the way you think they should be done. I recommend that you try not to squeeze every last drop of accuracy out of the model. I recommend it's better to get something that's done fast and you get it done quickly and it's explainable and it's usable. That's what you're going for in the real world. So let's see, what other things do we have? Let's see. So here's the grading scale. And so 930 points, you get an A. Okay. Traditionally, some of the teams in this class end up with 1,200 points. I've got other ones who don't do so well. It's usually the criteria that makes you win or lose is if your team is getting along and pushing, forward. If you're fighting amongst yourselves, you're not going to do well. You're going to have to learn to get along. So, but again, I'm going to save some time towards the end for Logan to talk about his experiences. Let's see. So here's the due date. By the end of week 2, October 3rd, your teams will be formed. And then the following week is your proposals. Usually what people will do we'll talk about the proposals, I guess, in a minute. Week 6 is the initial findings. Week 10 here is November 30th is when your final report is due. And then the following week is when your oral reports are delivered. So this is the timeline. So because of Thanksgiving, you guys get an extra week to work if you want. So that's kind of the big overview. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I'll sort of walk through everything quickly. Logan, do you see any questions?
I do not see anything in the chat, so we are we are pretty good so far.
Okay, then let's see what else.
Hey, Don.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Don. Yeah, this is Andy. Just one real quick question on the timeline. At the end, there was a December 12th date, and then I thought I heard it was a 1 week after the week 10 deliverables. But so is there a 2-week time period between when we have a final report due and
so the final day of class is your oral reports are the final week. So
okay, so they're going to occur over that week.
Right. So you actually we'll talk about that in a second, but I recommend you can do it live or you can record it. If you record it,
okay,
it makes my life easy, and I give you bonus points for recording it and putting it on YouTube. Also, and we'll show you this in a minute, we have the Hall of Fame, the Alumni Project Hall of Fame. And if you want to, maybe the best or 2 best projects every quarter, I invite them to be in the Hall of Fame for future students to see. And if you don't record it, you can't be in the Hall of Fame. So because, I need a recording of your report, so that's another reason why you might want to record. But I have occasionally had students who want to do it live, and that's perfectly fine. But your final report is due not on a Sunday, but on a Tuesday. And the reason why is because if you totally screw up your final report, this gives me enough time to grade it quickly and then give you time to fix it. I've had teams like hand in something and it's just like, you guys really didn't hit the mark on this one. And then if I can get them some feedback, they can fix what's, wrong with it and, get it back to me. So that's why the final report's due on a Tuesday. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate that.
Okay. So let's go through the project real quick. Again, I really recommend you guys watch the videos that I put together. So here we go. The capstone project is this. The milestones, week 2 here is when your project is your team is organized by the end of week 2. Also, I have your first bonus assignment, the alumni problem. I'll talk about that in a minute, but the punchline is if you go to the Alumni Hall of Fame, pull out one of the projects and do like a 1 or 2 page write-up on this and see what somebody did, I'll give you some bonus points because you'll see, oh, that's what Don wants us to hand in. Your goals or your project, what you are going to do is going to be due on week 3. Your initial findings, week 6, week 9 is your final project, and then week 10 is your oral report. Also, I have some discussion boards that you have to do. I know everybody's groaning, but that's a requirement. They told me I had to put discussion boards in the class. That's why I have them. However, I tried to make them kind of fun. So we'll talk about those in just a moment, but I tried to make them interesting and not just, the students tend to enjoy these things. At least I think they do. Logan, here's a leading question. Logan, you like the discussion boards, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you guys, I don't know which ones are open yet or able for you guys to see, but they're really more, entertaining and learning. When you get to learn, some interesting things throughout the course of the discussion boards, it just keeps you involved. It's not boring. You don't have to do a whole lot of research or anything, but just some very interesting perspectives you get to look at, and then you make a comment on them. So I was a big fan of the discussion boards.
Thank you. Okay. So, okay, so the class, this is going to be more than just a big project. I want this to be more like you're going to see in the real world, okay? It's not a big project. It's more important that you can explain this to the CEO, because if you cannot explain your results, and you're not just building models, you're building, you got a lot of data, and your job is to pull information and usefulness out of that data and tell the CEO how he's going to make money with it. That's the goal here. I'm going to also, I will give you some suggestions when the class starts, when you come up with some ideas for what you're going to do for your project. I'll give you my thoughts. However, you don't have to take my suggestions. I've had students are like, no, we don't want to do that, Don. I'm like, okay. But, if you dig a hole and you're in that hole, you're going to have to figure out how to get out of that hole. I'm not going to save you from yourself. So if you guys, I've had students, and Logan's going to probably give his horror story where the data wasn't available, so they had to change their project in midstream. So that happens. You're going to have to figure out how to do this. So as I said, I'm going to make a joke, but no one's going to get it because the TV show doesn't exist anymore. But you're going to have to make it work. And that's Tim Gunn. You guys remember Tim Gunn from Project Runway? Well, go watch those old episodes. It's funny. And then, then you'll get the joke. But trust me, that's funny. Anyways, let's see. 4 or 5 people, let's see. Also, sometimes students add and drop and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes you might end up with a team of 3 or 6. I mean, things happen, okay? And also, I reserve the right to move people around. If like one team's got 6 people and the other one's got 3, I'm gonna ask for volunteers. And if I don't get the volunteers, I'm gonna just move people randomly. So, I'll move people around if I have to. Let's see. So let's just go through the project really quick. Week 2, you're going to select a project. What do we do for that? Okay. Most people go out to Kaggle and grab a data set. And then once you get that data set, like for example, there might be a Kaggle project on who's going to default on a loan. Okay. Well, you're not going to just do that because that's going to be too easy just to build a model. What I want you to do is say, okay, we're going to pretend we're a bank and this is our data set. So what we're going to do is try to predict who's going to default on a loan. And maybe we're going to do a cluster analysis on what type of customers we have. And then we're going to figure out, we noticed that the data set had zip codes in it. Even though you don't need it, but we went out there to the Census Bureau and pulled the demographics of these zip codes, and we know what kind of people we have, whatever it is, keep squeezing more and more information out of this data set. So Kaggle is perfect for that. Also, some people have data from their work. Okay, so their boss has got a data set. And usually, every quarter, I might have, let's say, 7, 8 teams. I might have 1 or 2 of them where they got a real world data set. And they're like, we want to do this. I am not allowed to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Northwestern won't let me do that. So if you're using your company's data, you got to get your boss's permission. And if there's anything confidential in there, you're going to have to take it out. Okay, so that's your job to do that. I'm not allowed to, it's nothing personal. I'm just not allowed to sign an NDA. So, that can happen. Let's see, what else? As I mentioned before, it's not dog eat dog. Real world, believe it or not, it's not, you're not at each other's throats. You're on the same team. If you can help another team, you get bonus points. Discussion boards, week 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10. I call these something different, and these are the fun ones. Okay, I find fun things to talk about, and I try to make them useful. Weeks 3, 5, and 7, you got to post a status report about what did you do? And how is the team doing? And this weeks 3, 5, and 7, you're going to have to learn how to be shameless self-promotion. This is something I did not learn to do until very late in my career. My boss would say, give me a status report. And I'm like, I built the credit model. Now leave me alone. And the boss would say, thanks. And that was about it. And then I got the guy sitting next to me and he's like, well, you know, I maximized corporate efficiency by cleaning out the coffee machine. And now everybody can get, you know, awake sooner. And I also, you know, maximized efficiency by fixing the stapler and blah, blah, blah. And then this guy gets the promotion and the raise because he's marketing himself. And I'm sitting here, you know, solving world hunger, and I get, you know, demoted because I didn't know how to, you know, make myself look good. So this is you making yourself look good on weeks 3, 5, and 7. You're going to have to learn that. Nobody likes to brag, but you're going to have to learn this. Okay. Let's see. So project goals, week 3. This is going to be 5 to 10 pages on what you're going to accomplish. Basically, you know, read this. I don't want to read it to you, but the point is, you're going to tell me what you're going to accomplish in the project. Things can change, okay? So if things are, you know, as you start going down the path, things will change. You got to let the boss know. You can't just surprise me and say, oh, by the way, we totally changed the project and didn't tell you. The boss isn't going to like that. So you're going to have to keep me in the loop. The boss doesn't like surprises, okay? Let's see. Icing on the cake. This is a quick way to really make me love your project. An interactive dashboard. You don't have to do it, but almost everybody does. And that usually Tableau or whatever, Power BI, whatever you have access to, that's up to you. Mobile phone app, again, almost everybody tries it. The good news in this class is this is the class you're going to want to try and fail. If you fail at a mobile phone app or whatever, you don't just say, I failed. What's your job to do is you're going to say, hey, boss, we tried to get a mobile phone app working. It didn't work. Here's what the wireframes of it were supposed to look like. This is what we tried. It didn't work. And here's everything we did. A future team can build off of our work. And I'm going to be, yes, they really pushed themselves. And if you get it working, oh man, I don't think I've ever not given an A to a team that had a good mobile phone app. Just saying. You don't have to, but if you do it, like I said, it's you know, this is the time that you want to swing for the bleachers. The last thing in this class you ever want to do is play it safe. You want to get squeeze every last drop of knowledge out of this class that you can, because this is the last time in your life you're going to be in a place where you can try things. And if it doesn't work, it's not like I'm going to hammer you on it. You just got to show me the value of why the failure was still valuable to the company. Initial findings and executive summary. This is the wake up if you're falling asleep, because people really mess this up. I want an executive summary, okay? This is your report of all the stuff you did, but I also want a 5-page executive summary. You can go a few more if you want, but the executive summary is something that your boss is going to look at 5 minutes before he walks into a board of directors meeting, and he's going to walk in there and there's going to be a bunch of hostile people who don't like him, and he's going to have to look good. And he hasn't even looked at your project. So you're going to have to give him something with 5 pages that he's going to be able to look and read and know what's going on. Not PowerPoints, but like a summary, okay? So if it's not in the summary, if it's not in your executive summary, it didn't happen, because the boss won't have time to read this, at least not anytime soon. So put some work into this executive summary. And then of course, I've got more on this stuff as well, but so read this. Then we move down a little bit further, your final report. It's going to be more of the same. So a few weeks later, you got your final report. I've had teams get everything done in week 6, and then they handed in the same document in week 9. Guess what happens when you hand in the exact same document 3 weeks later? The boss goes nuts. I mean, I'm a CEO, and if you finish early in school, great. But again, I'm running this like a real world. If you finish early, 3 weeks later, if you haven't done any work, you still got paid. So the boss is going to be really mad. Why didn't you try something else? Why didn't you do this? You better show some real results between week 6 and week 9. Let's see what other fun things here. And then, of course, the oral report. You know, if you put a little power slide deck together for me, that the CEO can present this slide deck, something at a level he can understand, then I'll give you some bonus points for that. Your oral report, we'll talk about that later on in the quarter, but if you record it, I'll give you some bonus points for that. But it's just basically, this is going to be an oral presentation of what you did, and you know, try to not bore people, because people fall asleep on these presentations, which probably most of you are falling asleep now. Let's see, I see a chat question. How does the 5-page summary differ from the 5 to 10-page proposal? The difference is that the summary is what you did. The proposal is what you're going to do. I'm going to do a PowerPoint. I'm going to do a cluster analysis. I'm going to do a credit scoring model. I'm going to, do a dashboard. I'm going to do a this. Then the summary is, this is what we accomplished. This was our finding. This was our accuracy. This is how much money you're going to make. And it's going to be very high level, but it allows the boss to look like a superstar. Does that answer your question, whoever asked that?
Yeah, so the proposal is due early on in the course, but the executive summary is due later.
Correct.
Thank you.
So these are milestones. So does anybody have any questions about the project at this point? Okay, let's see. So those are where most of the work is done right there. Student contacts, this is, if you click on this, it's got everybody's name and email. So if you want to contact one another, you can, to form teams. Team building, this is where somebody was asking, how do you form a team? This is where, a couple of years ago, students recommended this. Post what you have. If you got a data set or you want to work on something, this is how you introduce yourself. So was Swapna, were you the one who asked the question? Somebody asked the question, but this is how you get your team together, is to meet here. Let's see, what other things do we do? Let's see, ask the prof. If you ask me, Don Wedding, I will give you some thoughts, okay? I'll give you a few pointers, like you say, well, geez, what software you would recommend for this? I'll tell you what I think. I'm going to try to keep away. This is your project, not mine. I'm not going to backseat drive. I'll give you some thoughts if you ask the question. Ask the CEO. This is a question for the CEO. I'm going to take off my instructor hat and put on the CEO, and I'm going to answer it like the boss. Logan and Aaron will be, if you've got a question for them, you can post TA communications. I try to stay out of there. So that's, you can post stuff like, Don's a real jerk, isn't he? I'll never see it, So if you got questions for them, in the past, I've had students say, hey, listen, Logan, would you take a look at this before we hand it in and give us your thoughts? So in other words, if you want, Logan will take a look at your things before you hand it in, but that's up to you. He's been through the gauntlet, so, but he'll answer questions. Information sharing, if you find anything cool, put it over here. Again, if anybody uses what you post and they give you credit or let me know, send me an email, I'll give bonus points. Let's see, let's move down a little further. Mobile phone app clearinghouse. If you find any cool information, that's a place to find it. Useful links. Over the years, whenever I find some cool website, I post it here. So this is just some, and if you find something cool, let me know and I'll post it here. Let's see, other stuff.
I made
You
a
don't
comment.
have to, but sometimes students like to post their stuff so that other students can see what they're working on. This is our first bonus assignment. It's due October 3rd, Alumni Project Roulette. What is this? Is that you're going to go and look at our Hall of Fame and you are going to look at some projects of teams from long ago, and they did an amazing job. And then you can say, that's what they did. And you can see how they did it. And then it will give you an idea. If you want to do a quick look at this and do a quick write-up, like, 1 or 2 pages, you got 15 points waiting for you. Where are those? Well, I'll show you. If you come way down here at the bottom, it's somewhere down here. Oh, Alumni Hall of Fame. These are projects that I thought were absolutely amazing. Like these guys here got EKGs from a doctor's office, and they predicted whether or not you have a heart problem or whatever. And these guys had, if a pet's going to get adopted, and these guys had, an expansion roster for the Seattle hockey team or whatever, all sorts of stuff. They're really quite remarkable. And, I keep them on here for about a year or two, and eventually I cycle them out, but try to, make it your goal to get in here. Like these guys here, sign language interpretation. These guys had a cell phone app where you make, letters of the alphabet in sign language, and the thing would tell you what it was. It would say, oh, that's the letter J or whatever. So there's some really good stuff here. Take a look at one of those. It's would be the best thing you could do. Let's see if there's anything else. Recordings. This is just stuff that I've recorded over the years. I've got tutorials, guest speakers, blah, blah, blah. This is that stuff. It's here. Let's see. These are the milestones. This is where you upload. Only one person on the team has to upload. The whole team gets the points for it. These are the weekly discussion boards. And this will be kind of fun. You'll enjoy them. I post words of wisdom, just things that I've thought of over the years, and I post them here. Just things I've learned. Hopefully you don't have to learn it the hard way. Hopefully you can pick up some of the things I've thought. Messages in a bottle, MIB. This is messages from students from long ago. They write a little note to you. They give you suggestions or whatever. Download this. They'll get some thoughts. Logan has one of his messages in a bottle are still in here. So you find what Logan has to say. But I would take a look at this. It's worth having. Again, these are interesting articles that I found over the years. If you're falling asleep, wake up, because I've got something really cool here. Sample resumes. Students of mine from the past have given me copies of their resume. So when you get your degree here, how do you market yourself? These were good resumes. They've sent them to me and they said I could post it here. So here's some tutorials. This is stuff that students have given me over the years. Like one student wrote a Python program that goes out to the Weather Bureau and gets data from the Weather Bureau. I've had a lot of students have used this over the years. Let's see, just all sorts of interesting things. There's an all hands on deck project. So halfway through the class, students get, I give you an assignment at the worst possible moment, and you got to do a white paper. And some of these white papers are really good. download this and keep it in your back pocket. So someday the boss says, tell me about data IQ. There'll be like 3 white papers written at a CEO level of understanding. In here, you can become an instant expert on any topic. And that's kind of it right here. If there's any questions, comments, or thoughts, I'll address those. And if not, we'll step back and Logan can give you his thoughts on forming a team and all that fun stuff. And also he can do a discussion on the, we're gonna have a guest speaker. And if anybody attends Logan's guest speaker and writes a little 1-page summary of it, they can get 10 bonus points. Let's see, I have one thing here. If there's any other questions. Oh, one other thing. I'm going to also, around week 4, I'm going to redo something that I haven't done for a couple of years. I used to have a thing called show and tell, and students would come in and this was totally voluntary, but it was like a TED Talk. You got 5 minutes to talk on any topic, and you can get bonus points for you and your team. And if there's any 422 students they can also present. You could talk about, I've had students do things like, this is how a neural network works, and here's some sample code, and in 5 minutes. Somebody else did a talk on, hidden secrets of Excel. Somebody else said, this is how you form an LLC business. Whatever you want, you got 5 minutes, and Logan is going to orchestrate that this year, and it's going to record it, and you can earn bonus points, but more importantly, you can learn a lot of cool stuff. So anyways, that's absolutely everything that I have to talk about. Does anyone have any questions? If not, I'm going to hand the things over to Logan to talk about. So let me just walk down. I'm gonna. How about Chim? Chim, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions right now. Thank you.
Nope, nothing? Okay, let me think. How about, let me think. Harani Anand, how about you?
I don't have any questions.
No questions. Okay. Lewis, I know you're from my 422 class, but we might draft you to do a talk on Go, because you said you were interested in that.
Yeah, I'm exploring it and trying to figure out what packages I can leverage, especially coming from Python. I love my libraries and.
Well, no. Just you got 5 minutes, so you would want to do something like, this is how you download it. Here's a hello world. This is how you convert Fahrenheit into Celsius. Something quick. It's got to be fast. The goal is to give people an idea of what it is and whet their appetite to learn more. Lindsay McCone, you look like a person with a question.
I guess I can come up with a question. So I
Okay.
saw somewhere, I want to say that there is a final exam. Did I just completely misread that, or will there be a final exam in this class?
There is a final exam, and everybody gets really worried about that. It's not designed to scare you. By the time that final exam rolls around, you don't need those points. It's more of a fun thing where it's going to ask you questions on things that you would have learned throughout the entire program. It's multiple choice. It's not proctored. It's not anything. It's just some simple questions. And the only thing is, it's going to help you, because everything in this class is just how many points did you get. So if you went in there and just clicked the letter C for every single one of them, you're going to get, just on sheer luck, like 25%, and those points would just get added to your grade. So please do not fear the final exam. It's designed to give you a quick chance to earn a few more points, just in case you are close to the next highest grade. Does that answer your question?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Swapna, you have raised your hand. What is your question?
So are we going to have sync sessions like every week, or maybe
Nope.
once? No
This
sync
is your
session.
one and only sync session. The rest of it is, you guys are going to be building. I'll send announcements and stuff out, and I will be available to talk to your team if you need it. But This is not the class for this. The class for sync sessions and all that and teaching and stuff is a Chad Body's class, or there's other people. This one is a project. This is a real world corporate project. Does that help you?
Yeah, so if the group has some questions, then we need to set up some time with you and walk through the
Yep,
questions or whatever during the course.
Yep, I am
Okay.
always available.
Okay, thank you.
So if there's no more questions, I'm going to turn the ball over to Logan, and you can finish us up here, Logan.
Okay, doke. Thank you. Appreciate that, Don. So if anybody needs to reach me, has any questions, about the course, or, get stuck or something, go ahead and ping me. My contact information is there, and I mentioned it in the chat in the TA communications module. So,
And you can share your screen if you want, because you want to show them that thing, that flyer.
yeah. So, yep. Thank you. So can you guys see my screen okay here?
Yep, we see it.
Okay, so like I say, feel free to reach out to me at any time there. Anytime, you can send an email in the daytime. I'll try to get back to it by that evening. If not, the next morning. So I'll do my best to get to that during the week. On the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, I'll check my email multiple times throughout the day. You can always call or text me on something urgent. But overall, I think you guys will be fine in this course for the majority of the things. But if you need to pick my brain for, how we got through a certain, issue of the project, or you get stumped on the project and you need to figure out, okay, now this didn't work out for me. Our data set's not, working out how we expected to. What should we do? Don't panic. That's the first thing I can say is don't panic. There's no need to panic. There's a suitable amount of weeks to go ahead and, fix the project, restart it, get another set of data and reframe it. So there's, resources here that we can help you with that. And, we can also look online on Kaggle and find something that might be a little bit easier for you to do as well. So no need to get worried or nervous about any of this. I think everybody usually finds a very good group. 9 times out of 10, everybody's going to carry their weight. So in the one case that you're not, maybe a few of you guys are going to have to carry a little bit more weight than, everybody else, but it'll work out in the end. And like I say, just hold each other accountable. Personal accountability. I mean, you don't want to let down your team. So there's good students in the program here, so I don't foresee that being an issue come up too often. We have a PDF here that I have on the screen. I'm also part of the MSDS Student Leadership Council here at Northwestern. My term here ends in the fall once we get done with this, and this is the last event that we're going to host for this calendar year. And it's an opportunity for us to bring in, a nonprofit to come in and speak to the school. Give you guys some insights into how data science is being used, in the real world in terms of a nonprofit. It's not always for-profit companies, working at a CPG company or, a transportation company like FedEx, like myself here, or something like that. It's also used to have a positive impact on somebody's life. So we made the connection with Data IQ, who's a platform, and they have a nonprofit arm that supports this group called the 1 Acre Fund. And what they do is, they go over there to a developing country and they help the farmers with the financing that they need and also training in order to grow their crops more efficiently by using data. So there's limited resources that are available in some of these areas, and they show them, by using data science and donated, I'd say, I don't want to say labor, but donated skills and expertise. They'll go ahead and crunch the numbers for them and help them get the financing to go ahead and grow an acre of land for a very cheap amount of money and produce a sustainable living for them. So it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's Wednesday, October 13th. And it's the first time we've done an event that's going to be during the lunch hour for people on Central Time from 12 to 1:30. We'd love to have you log on and see it. There's a register now link. I will send this out as an announcement as well through Canvas. We'd like to go ahead and have an idea of how many folks are going to attend by October 10th, because sometimes there's the participants that we have an interaction they'd like to have planned and maybe get some participation with it. So that's why we ask for an RSVP, so we have an idea of how many people. If for some reason you can't make it, I mean, I know a lot of us have jobs and we might have meetings over our lunch hour that prevent us from being there at the 12 o'clock p.m. Central Time. we can go ahead and we always record these and we send it out to the entire group here at the school. So again, looking forward to presenting this. It's really exciting, and we're definitely going to be able to present and give a light to a very good organization here. And that's about all I have. If anybody has any questions, like I say, you can call me, text me, email me, whatever. Like I said, I love to get calls at 3 a.m. There's a secret little thing on an iPhone. If you figure out how to forward your phone, I'll just make sure it's forwarded to Don's personal home number here.
Yeah, thanks, Logan.
You're welcome.
So anyways, well, again, Logan, thank you very much. And also, you know, as you guys are setting up projects and forming teams, this would be, you know, I think we're very lucky to have Logan join us because, you know, he's run through the gauntlet. So, you know, probably reach out to him early on about, you know, ideas of projects or how to form a team, et cetera. He's the guy for you. Any final questions? If not, I'm going to let you guys all, you know, get out of here 4 minutes early. So. Okay, well, then, you know, enjoy the quarter. It's seems more daunting than it is. It's going to be a great experience. I think you'll enjoy it.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.